Dave Schneider. Down here on Sanibel Isle today. It's a guide's life. It's a great life. It's a day off. I haven't had a whole lot of these, but recently, of course, I'm about 100. I'm 100% now. I'm not feeling sick anymore or anything like that. I'm feeling great, and so it's good to be back in the saddle, so to speak. But I do have a fish. I have a guide trip in the morning. I got a 4-hour trip in the morning, so be right back at it, and I'll tune you in on that. Of course, I know it's going to be it's both baits. We'll do some shiner fishing probably early, and then jump over and do a little bit artificial, or vice versa. But believe it or not, the shiner bite's really good right now, and I'd rather fish in the evening. The evening bite has been spectacular. In fact, the two Michigan boys that just caught those two busters the other day in the video, they had. We caught both of those fish, probably an hour before dark, about 6:30 or so. So anyway, having said that, back in the saddle, and whatnot. I don't know and whatnot. I thought I'd take a few minutes and kind of start telling you my story. A lot of people want to know, how do you become a captain? How did you wind up on Lake Okeechobee and Roland Martin Marina? And I'm going to give it to you straight. It was absolutely just a business decision. Coming to South Florida, and coming to Lake Okeechobee and making my way in and elbowing my way in at Roland Martin Marina. Great story to tell you there. The first day I came here, I had sent a message to Roland Martin Marina via the internet, and I had some time before. In January of that year that I came down, I had some time, and so I sent him a message and just said, hey, who hires the guides, or just getting some information on what the process is to become a guide, if you're hiring guides, and so on and so forth. At that point, the only thing I'd ever really done was take a lot of kids fishing. It was part of my every springtime. In fact, it's April right now. I'd be on the lakes in Michigan probably right now. The ice is no doubt gone. The water temperature's in the 40s, and boy, it's a good time to catch bass up there. Although it's not legal to target them right now. Never kept one in a day of my life anyway. But anyway, but I had decided I was going to come to Roland Martin Marina, and so I sent them a message. And then I drove down. I literally drove down. I mean, I pulled my boat down, and I was extremely nervous. I was very intimidated by the lake. I didn't know what to expect, and didn't know what I was getting myself into per se. And but I showed up here and I acted like I owned the place. And Zamata, she goes by Z. She has a great story, and I told her that at some point I might get a little interview with her and put her on. I'm going to tell this story. I'm not all at once, but give you bits and pieces. But I come walking into the marina, and if you've ever been at the marina, you go in the main marine store where the clothing is and all that kind of stuff. Not the marine center, or not where they sell the boats at anglers, but at the marina itself. Come walking in, I'm like, hey, who's responsible to answer the emails around here? I just kind of real bold and like I can be, and I had some bright clothes on, and one of the girls jokingly said I looked like a human highlighter between the yellows and the oranges and what have you. But anyway, and she kind of looked at me. She said, well, that'd be Raymond. I said, well, where's Raymond? I sent an email 3 weeks ago. Nobody responded. And of course, I was just joking. I found out Raymond was in charge. I'm like, oh, well, we won't bother him today. But anyway, that's how I that was my introduction to the marina. And I rented a little campsite right next to the marina. And eventually, I'll show the pictures of that stuff. I'm digging around to try and find them. But I pitched a tent, and I lived in a little 2-man tent for weeks and weeks. And I fished every day, save 4 days. There were 4 days where I didn't go out on the water and fish, and it was just because the thunderstorms were so bad that I was literally standing inside my tent on the inside, holding on to everything, hoping that the whole thing didn't blow away. But that was my indoctrination. Years ago, I asked them, I said, if you wanted to be a guide on Lake Okeechobee, this is crazy because I never ever dreamed I would actually do this. you know, you always hope, and I had this burning desire to work in the industry. I used to watch Bassmaster television like many of you, and back in the, you know, in the 80s, and watching these guys fish, and man, it would choke me up sometimes just watching them kind of fulfill their dreams and living that dream and fishing in the industry. That's the best way I can put it. And so it was just finally showing up here and just getting my rod wet. The guy told me, he said, if you want to be a guide, he said, go there, spend a few months and learn the water. Now, you can't learn any body of water in a few months, but I'm gonna tell you, you can figure some things out in 3 months. And fishing every day, you get on fish, you start to figure things out. There's so much to learn, and so much that you have to go through to really completely understand, and you never completely understand. All those cliches are true, but you go through the process. And I went in there every day, and I talked to people, and I introduced myself to Marianne, and eventually sat down with her and Raymond both. And I remember when I was getting ready to leave, and I said, hey, I'm getting ready to make some pretty big life decisions. If I get my captain's license, do you think you'd have some space to, you know, kind of put me on? And the way it works at the marina is if you show up and you've been there for a while and they kind of get to know you and you get a reputation for being able to catch some fish, they'll look your equipment over and make sure that what you have is up to their standards. You know, nobody wants to come here and fish in a dirty old beat up boat. You know, and crappy old equipment and all that kind of stuff. So they make sure that your gear's up to snuff to protect the interests of their guests, and then they start feeding you a few trips, and you're not, you know, you're just an overflow person, and that's all I am, is an overflow person. I fish. I remember standing out in front of the wall, and they've got this wall that says "World's Greatest Bass Guides" or "World Famous Bass Fishing Guides" or something like that. And they have all these names up on the wall, and of course, you know, Scott Martin's up there, and you know, there's some Chet Doubt that's one of my favorite dudes, man. I watch Chet on TV, and just really anyway. And I just thought to myself, man, wouldn't it be something to get my name up on that wall at some point? And of course, about 2 months ago, that happened, and my picture's up there, or no, my name's up on the wall, and that's kind of a big moment. But it started by me knocking down the door, so to speak, and then having a lot of success with guests. You know, the marina gave me trips, and you know, they watch you real close to make sure that you're not an idiot, and make sure you're treating people right, and making sure that people are having a good experience, and it all went good for me, guys. I've really never really had any issues with anybody in terms of fishing and things like that. Now, I will tell you, there's a lot of landmines in coming down and being a bass guide in an area where there's so many guides. A lot of guys that have been here for a while, they kind of act like you're taking meals right out of their family's mouth and what have you. And so you know, there's a lot to contend with when it comes to that sort of thing. But straight up, easiest decision I ever made was coming to Clewiston and connecting myself with Roland Martin Marina and fishing Lake Okeechobee. People who come down here always dream of catching a big bass. When people think of big bass, they think of South Florida. When people think of South Florida, they think of Lake Okeechobee. And if you do any research at all, Roland Martin Marina, the work that Roland and Marianne did, and the risks that they had taken over the years to build the empire that they've built, for me to be able to attach myself to that is an incredible blessing that I don't take lightly. I deeply appreciate the Martins, and including Scott and the entire family. They're great people, and I would never say anything other than that. You know, I sit out in my boat sometimes and I think, man, I am living my dream. But I'm living my dream because Roland and Marianne had the courage to chase theirs all those years ago. So that's kind of how the whole thing started for me. Now, I've got a lot more details and a lot more things I want to tell you about it. And if you've got any questions specifically, man, ask me a question. That'll help to kind of spur along this storyline. I'm only going to do about 6-7 minutes of this at a time. I think I'm already over that. I'm probably at about 10 or 11 minutes today. But I don't want to overwhelm you with it. Having said that, though, guys, I got a new giveaway coming up. I've got a rod and reel that I'm going to give away. Now, I've asked around about this. I'm going to start giving away some used equipment, but for me, used equipment is generally really pretty nice stuff. I've got some stuff that is very good that I've used and that I've had my guests using, and I've kind of just gone in different directions. And one of those companies is with Halo. I've got some Halo rods. I still use some Halo equipment, but I've got a couple of big flipping sticks that are just gaining dust at the house. And these are 7-foot, 11-inch rods. They're big rods, but I want to give them away, and I'm going to give away a reel with each one as well. But right now I'm going to give away one rod and reel, and it's going to be my prize giveaway for 1,600 subscribers. Now I'm about 65, 70 subscribers away from that. There's no time limit on this, guys, but I would like to do it sooner than later. And it's a beautiful rod. I'll take pictures of it and I'll show it to you. Now the reel is actually, it's a Daiwa TDX reel. I mean, this reel is 18 years old, but guys, I used to take them apart and clean them every year. They're in great condition. And my intention is to give away the rod and the reel together. Now, I've had people tell me, don't be afraid to give away some of your used equipment. These guys will love it. I hope that's the case. I hope that by me passing along some of this equipment, that I give you a chance. I get a chance for you to improve your fishing, and to help you get a little bit better. And you know, maybe you don't have a big meat stick. This is a big meat stick. And so anyway, that's the next giveaway. That's 1,600 subscribers. Now here's the thing: you are going to have to, in order for me to keep track of you here on the giveaway, you're going to have to. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me think over exactly how I want to handle the logistics of it. But I do want to kind of officially announce it, okay? And I'll figure out the logistics. It's going to involve, I'm sure, some sort of like and share kind of deal, and then maybe post in the comment section. It won't be too laborious, but it'll be something. I found out that it's best to do those things because then I have a real easy way to keep track of you, to make sure that you get your proper due and your proper opportunity to win. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. We're going to get back out on the water tomorrow. It's a guide's life, guys. I'm going to shoot a time lapse, let the sun fall behind us, and let you enjoy that. Hopefully it comes out. And that's where we're at. Hey, Captain Dave Snyder, coming to you from Sanibel Island. It's a gorgeous beach. It's a gorgeous place, and I hope that you enjoy that little bit of a story. Plenty more of that, where that came from. I got a lot more to tell you. Hey, I love you guys. So much appreciate you sharing it with me. Have a good night.